If you're watching Bitcoin, it's a good day. It's a great day. If you're watching altcoins, then what you're watching is a melt-up. A melt-up. Okay, now I didn't know what a melt-up was either, but this is what a melt-up is apparently.
Well, I think that we're in the midst of what I would call a melt-up. So, probably the next month and a half, there really isn't much quote unquote bad news that hasn't been priced in. The thing that I've learned over the last...
So Chamath is calling it a melt up. He said it's going to last for the next month and a half. I did some research about what a melt up is because I didn't actually know what a melt up was. And a melt up is a sustained and often unexpected improvement in investment performance of an asset or asset class, partly driven by a stampede of investors who don't want to miss out on its rise, rather than fundamental improvements in the economy. So basically a month melt of FOMO. That's what it is. Now, if you want to see what a melt up looks like in crypto, I'll show you. So Cardano is melting up at the moment. As you can see, Cardano is melting up. Solana is about to melt up. You can see it's back over $100. It is about to melt up, and I'm going to show you why I would buy Solana over Luna and Avalanche. That's the one that I've been doing it. DeFi Kingdom's Jewel is melting up. So you see that's a melt up. You see, that's a melt up. If you didn't know what a melt up was, that's what a melt up was. This morning, I had some friends, and what I saw them looking at their Cardano portfolios. This is what happened.
Yeah, Sammy. Yeah, Sammy. Yeah.
This is their Cardano holders and their portfolios this morning.
Yeah.
Last couple of months, Cardano holders and their portfolios.
Yeah. Sammy. Hi.
I want to say that no animals were hurt in the making of this video. And that's how they felt this morning when finally they got some price action. all the Cardano holders. All right, also today, the days of 20% on Anchor Protocol are history. That's it, done. No more 20% on Anchor Protocol. That's because of this vote on Prop 20, which actually was voted for. So we're going to talk about the vote on Anchor Protocol. And then I want to talk about a protocol that I found in October. And then FTX went and bought all the tokens. Like they literally said, first off, we did indeed buy all the tokens. So that's what we're going to talk about. So today's going to be about degening. And if you're not a degen, if you can't handle real altcoin degen, if you don't have it in your heart, if you're not a full-on altcoin degen, don't watch the show today. Today is not for you. Come back tomorrow. Tomorrow there's a Bitcoin maximalist banter. I'll show you tomorrow. This is what's happening tomorrow. So today we're going full altcoin degen, and tomorrow we've got Mark Yusko, Michael Saylor, and Anthony Scaramucci, and I'm going to be a Bitcoin maximalist for about an hour. So today's about degening. If you want to degen, let's do this. Let's get out of bed. If you are a Bitcoin maximalist, just come back tomorrow.
My US dollars are right on track. It's gone down. Yeah, I'm in the fiat space. I teach people about the US dollar. Most people think of the dollar as a secure, valuable monetary instrument. Fools. I teach them what it really is. Dude, you got to get in now. The US dollar is a closed source, censorship rich, peer to bank to peer mutable trap. I'm an integral part of the fiat community on Twitter. Yeah, I'm going to the fiat conference this year. They've got a huge lineup of speakers who are experts at reinforcing the old paradigm. Hillary Clinton's doing a talk warning people about the dangers of crypto. I think she's also doing a talk warning people about the dangers of her. I tweet about fiat currency several times a day, just trying to get people on board. Things like, fiat always and only works for your government, never against them. Fiat is faster, cheaper, and more worthless than dirt, and your savings are being printed away. In all my profile pics, check out the effects on my eyes. They're glazed over. Everyone in our community does that. Dude, weird conspiracy theorists think Bitcoin is the answer to all the problems caused by centralized control. Those idiots. The real answer is giving centralized banks and companies more control. That way people will be relieved of the burden of having to use their own free will to navigate their lives. Because centralized control isn't what stresses people out. Freedom is. Because Bitcoin is decentralized, it can't shut down donations if authorities don't like the cause. To make the world a better place, we should be thinking like, how can we GoFundMe everything? Tonight I'm doing a Twitter Spaces about the US dollar. Most people don't know how to get less for their money. I'm going to help them. But this isn't real. I just bought this fake money as a prop. But oddly enough, this fake money is now worth more than the real money it pretends to be. Inflation with fiat currency is confusing because it's so predictable. There is a lot to learn about fiat. What you need to understand is the US dollar is a mechanism that helps free you from your independence. I'm a control maximalist. Fiat empowers you to rely on someone else's system, and it helps protect.
Okay, so how many of you are fiat maximalist, Banter fam? I love that. If you haven't checked it out, go and check it out. It's absolutely unbelievable. Welcome back, guys. Going to be a big day today. We're DJing. Can't wait. You know me. I'm a DJ. I like to DJ. I don't like the days where we talk about Bitcoin. That's tomorrow. And tomorrow I'm going to put on my serious pants and I'm going to talk to Michael Saylor and Mark Yusko and Scaramucci, and we're going to talk about Bitcoin. So that's for Bitcoin Maximus. It's going to be a high alpha show. If you're new, welcome. Subscribe to our channel. Like this content. Let's smash the likes today. When we get to, how many thousand likes do we need to get today? Let's get to 3,000 likes. When we get to 3,000 likes, I give away tokens in NeoFi. So I'm going to start giving away tokens in NeoFi. It's going to be worth a lot, and it lists while we're on the show. So then you can know exactly how much you're getting. I'm going to give away $1,000 in pre-IDO tokens only when we get to 3,000 likes. Take that Bitcoin shirt off. You're right. I should have worn something else. I should have worn another shirt today. What else is there today? Yes, there is this that I wanted to talk about. So we are still talking about, people want us to talk about our TLM holdings and to reveal our wallet addresses. We are going to do that, but we need your help. We need to know how to do this without exposing our wallet addresses, because we're not about to expose any of our wallet addresses. So if anybody has any smart solutions or suggestions as to how we can show the community our holdings without actually exposing our wallet addresses, very happy to do whatever it is. Please let us know. Give us the comments in the YouTube, because we want to do it because we have nothing to hide, of course. All right, let's get into the news. And in the news today, or what is happening today, I think the first thing we're going to talk about is the jobless claims. And the jobless claims were basically, we got the lowest jobless claims in, I don't know how long, but very long. And so this means that the economy is overheating. And because the economy is overheating, we can expect interest rate hikes. The market is now, before the jobless claims numbers came out, the market is pricing in 7.34 interest rate hikes this year. So by the end of 2022, we're going to have 7.34 interest rate hikes. And they're talking about a 2.5% interest rate. And even with this all happening, it hasn't been enough to move the Bitcoin price. Bitcoin's still holding on at about 43,000, as you can see, just under 43,000. The markets, the US markets are pretty stable. The Nasdaq is about 0% up. The Dow Jones is about 0.4% up, and the S&P 500 is about 0.3 up. It's basically nothing's happening. But Bitcoin is Okay, it's up back at 43,000, but that's not where the fun is today. The fun is today in all the altcoins, and that's why today we're going to spend as much time as we can degening. I am lecturing at a university later on today online, so we'll degen until I have to go and degen at the university. We have been watching the Terra Foundation's address. What we can see, look at this. So there was the first buy. We all know about the first buy, $125 million. Then yesterday there was the second buy, which was again $125 million. And now there was 7 hours ago, a third $125 million has been transferred. So we're looking at another $125 million Bitcoin purchase imminent. Okay, so that's imminent. Now, what we can see with this is that Kwon is becoming Michael Saylor. So he's becoming exactly like Michael Saylor, and he's actually starting to compete with Michael Saylor. So Michael Saylor, MicroStrategy, has 125,051 Bitcoin. Terra holds 18,423 Bitcoin. But I think that Kwon is doing it wrong because he is on Twitter and he's saying like, familiar, please short. But I think he doesn't understand how to do it. So if anybody is speaking to Kwon, and I did try and call him earlier, I think you need to explain to him, if you want to be like a real life Michael Saylor, what you have to do is, for one, you can only buy Bitcoin after the dip. So don't buy Bitcoin when it hasn't dipped, because Michael Saylor only buys after dip. Then you must always pay more than the market price. So the market says like, wow, Michael Saylor paid more than the market price. And then when you're done, you got to do a tweet. You got to do a tweet. You got to say, Luna Foundation has purchased an additional 660 Bitcoin for. You got to do that, because otherwise it's not really a real announcement. If you don't announce it like that, it's not a real announcement. So if anyone is speaking to Kwon, just tell him that there's a methodology to do it. You got to buy after a dip, so the market thinks you rescued it from the dip. You got to pay more than the market price, so the market thinks the price is cheap. And then you have to come out with the tweet. Otherwise, it doesn't count. Otherwise, it really, really, really doesn't count. So this guy's right. Kigo is right. Bitcoiners are becoming UST degens. That's exactly what is happening. I said that's why Kwon was such a genius. Everybody's talking about the fact that Luna Foundation is buying Bitcoin, but no one is talking about why they're buying Bitcoin and how to use Bitcoin. No one knows about this. It's like the best kept secret. All they know is that Kwon is buying Bitcoin to protect the peg of UST. But how many people actually know how that peg is actually being protected? No one. Kyle, do you know how the peg is being protected?
On Luna.
Yeah. Do you know how it happens? Have you understood the real genius of how this happens? Yes or no?
No.
No. You?
I know.
Okay, Dan knows. Yeah, I bet you Fred doesn't know. Fred?
Yes, I'm here. Ask again.
Do you know how this whole mechanism of Bitcoin and UST works? How Bitcoin protects the peg? Because that's the genius part of this whole thing.
I'm going to let you explain it, Ryan. No one knows it better than you.
Yeah, no one knows it better than me, and also no one drives a better car than Fred, the Audi A7 Father Mobile. Okay, so Vanessa knows. Okay, so listen to this. This is how it works, and I think it's genius. So what happens is there is LFG, the Luna Foundation places the BTC in a reserve pool, and retail. And the retail traders can access Bitcoin at a discount if Luna loses its peg. So for example, if Terra loses its peg, then what they do is they start selling Bitcoin at a discount. And so what happens is people start buying up the Bitcoin from this reserve pool. And that is what effectively keeps the peg. And then afterwards, when you want to get more Bitcoin into the pool, then effectively people buy UST with Bitcoin. So it goes the other way. This is a genius mechanism. I didn't realize that this is how they were deploying the Bitcoin. I thought that the Bitcoin were going to sit in. But what they're basically doing is that they've built this, or they're building this basically like an automatic market maker, which says that at any point in time, if Luna loses its peg, you need people to be buying UST, just sell them cheap Bitcoin using UST. and then they have to buy UST to use those cheap Bitcoin. So that is how the peg works. And it's absolutely genius. Absolutely genius. It's probably almost as genius as Anchor Protocol was giving people 20% to drive adoption of UST. I think this was the best marketing exercise in history. Because if I were to come to you before this whole thing and say to you, look, how much marketing budget would you give me to build a decentralized stablecoin, which is algorithmically based, and to build a bank at the same time? I mean, what's the number? Now, they funded Anchor Protocol at the time. I think they funded it with about $70 million. And now they refunded it with another $500 million to keep this yield reserve. So remember how Anchor Protocol works is if you deposit UST, you can deposit your UST. You can see there's $11.5 billion of UST deposited here. And you earn, up until now, you earned 20%. But where do they get this money, this 20% from? Well, when you want to borrow against your money, you can borrow against your B Luna, B ETH, and now your staked AVAX. This is brand new. The staked AVAX is brand new. And they take all their deposits, they earn income on all these deposits by staking them, and then they pay income to the deposit holders. Problem is that there's been a big gap. And so what happens is there's been this yield reserve in place, and this yield reserve basically stands as a protection mechanism. So in other words, when the protocol is paying out more money than it's earning on the staking, then this yield reserve gets depleted. And you can see this yield reserve has been depleted pretty fast. It's been depleted by about $100 million since they refunded it not so long ago. But now the days of 20% on Anchor Protocol are finished, because after this governance proposal, the rate will drop at 1.5% a month until the yield reserve starts to increase. So this month it'll be 20%, then next month it'll be 18.5%, then the next month it'll be 17%, until the yield reserve starts to increase. And if the yield reserve depletes itself and goes to zero, then Anchor Protocol will just go onto a completely floating mechanism, which will be anything between 5 and 15%. So initially, they lured people into UST using this 20%. You could kind of say that they spent the money on marketing. And now that there is adoption of UST and it's starting to get network effects, they're kind of going, look, now the market has to decide, and we're going to slowly let go. We're slowly going to let go. And we're going to do this by reducing the yield by 1.5% based on this proposal. And this proposal has been passed. I'm not sure exactly when it starts, but it is happening. It is happening. In the meantime, you can see they are adding assets. So it used to only be Bitcoin and, Luna and ETH. Now it's Luna, ETH, and AVAX. And we've seen that there's Cosmos on the testnet. So it's going to be Luna, ETH, Cosmos, and AVAX. So this is like the bank, and the currency is UST. Cool, what else? No, I didn't close my ape short yet. It's programmed to close. Actually, let me check. It's programmed to close at 1465, which is basically my cost. If you take into the funding. Remember, I opened that at like $15. What is happening with ape? No, I'm still good. 1310, I'm still good. At 1465, it automatically closes. It automatically closes itself. It's like a stop loss. It's the stop loss, but kind of the other way. Okay, let's talk about other things. Let's talk about melt-ups. In particular, let's talk about this melt-up on Cardano. Now, if you've been following Sheldon's show, the legend, Sheldino called this way before it happened, and then he reiterated the call yesterday. He even came onto our show, even though he's on paternity leave. He came onto the show yesterday and he said there's going to be a Cardano breakout. We're seeing Cardano breakout. It's broken this long-term downwards trend. It looks like it is happening. There's been a whole lot of good news on Cardano, which is pushing up Cardano, and it's pushing up the whole Cardano ecosystem. And I think that whereas Cardano may have run, I think the ecosystem is just starting. So you see that we heard this news that Grayscale is launching this fund, the smart contract fund that doesn't have Ethereum into it. The biggest element of that fund is Cardano. 24.63% of that fund is Cardano. There's a lot of developer activity. So Charles says remember when I predicted thousands of assets and dApps on Cardano? Well, I was wrong. There are now millions of native assets issued, and dApps are now in the hundreds. Slowly and steady. I think it's becoming much more slowly and steady. And if you look at the Cardano ecosystem, don't look at it on CoinGecko, because CoinGecko leaves out most of the good ones. But like, you look at Coty up 10.8%, Ergo up 31.8%, Ardana up 17.5%, Ocam up 67.3%. The Launchpad, CardStarter, starting to go up. Now, there are some that haven't yet run, like things like Jira Wallet, Charlie 3 haven't run. I also saw Paribus, one of our favorite tokens, one that we invested in pretty early. We're still holding all our allocation. I don't think we've touched our allocations yet. This one up 24.9%. I've got big hope for this one. I think this is going to be very good. And if the Cardano season continues, and it could be that Cardano season is actually going to start happening now. If we keep a bull market and Cardano does this breakout, we could actually have got Cardano season, which we've been talking about for a long time. The TVL of Cardano, we spoke about this yesterday. The total value locked of Cardano has exploded. Now, it's still number 24, which is, you kind of want to say it's unacceptable for such a big chain to be number 24 on DeFi Llama. But remember that because of the slow and steady approach that Cardano have on their roadmap, it doesn't have all the smart contracts and all the DEXs and everything else that it needs to get the TVL. So yes, the TVL has actually increased by 173% in the last month and 44% in the last 7 days to $316 million. But it's still like number 24. It does mean that there's probably a long way up to go. And that means that I don't think that that long way up to go is going to come out of Cardano itself. I think it's going to come out of the ecosystem and developments of the ecosystem. Now, I want to say that the Cardano season is going to come now, but it's hard to have a Cardano season where you don't really have a good DEX on Cardano and you don't really have good smart contracts. And there are 2 or 3 network upgrades that are happening between now and June. And when those happen, I think we may see a much more aggressive Cardano season. I also heard news today that ADEX, which I think is going to be the DEX on Cardano, is launching. It's launching sometime in April. It's ADA swap. Look out for it. I don't know when they're going to make the announcement, but I think it's going to be a DAO maker IDO, and that's the one that we're invested in and we've been backing all the time. So let's see what happens with that one. What else is happening on Cardano? If you look at it, they do have now Coinbase staking. So Coinbase users can now stake Cardano. So it's just a whole lot of good news on Cardano, and Cardano breaks out and everybody's happy and the monkey's alive again, and Cardano portfolio holders portfolios are alive again, and everything's dandy. Another breakout today is, it's just broken out. You see that? Solana. Okay, so you got that breakout. Sheldon would probably say not to buy it now. I'd probably say wait for the retest. Kyle, what would you say?
Yeah, I agree. I'd say the same thing.
So you wouldn't buy Solana now?
Maybe not today, though.
Not today.
Just, I think all the stocks are busy coming down, so maybe later on this week or next week.
Would you buy Solana, Avalanche, or Luna right now? You can only buy one. Gun to your head.
Avalanche.
Avalanche.
No ways. Yeah, I'll still go with Avalanche.
Whoa. Hold on. Fred. Solana, Avalanche, or Luna right now? Solana, Avalanche, or Luna?
Oh, Solana, no doubt. Absolutely.
How long is the hold for?
The hold is for a year.
Hold is for a year. Ooh, that changes everything. For a year, I'd probably go Luna.
Luna,
I'd say
Kyle?
for a year. If you said for a month to 3 months, Solana. Definitely.
Idan, what would you buy? Solana.
Yeah, the other ones, Solana hasn't pumped since like November.
I'll tell you mine tomorrow, but I do
Look
think...
at that chart. Look at that chart. I mean, how could you not? Pull up the Luna chart. Look at the difference.
Yeah, you're right. Luna's at all-time highs, basically. Pretty much all-time highs. Look, there's no real news that I saw on Solana. I mean, I kind of did look for news. I think it's just altcoins waking up and people waking up back to Solana, which has been hit. Solana's been... I mean, look at this. Solana's been hit really, really, really hard. It's about 40% of its all-time high. Like it was not even. Let's see how far down it is. I mean, let's do this and let's go down to here. It's down 61% from all-time high. Okay, but it was very hyped up here. So I don't know. Other news on Solana. Go ahead, Freddie.
No, it's just funny. I'm just saying, I think the actual market top was at the Solana conference.
It was. That's exactly it. We were there. You were the top. You see, but VCs like Multicoin Capital, they made 1,317x in their fund on Solana. So imagine you invested in this Multicoin Fund 1. This is Multicoin Fund 1. Imagine you invested in Multicoin Fund 1. This is the portfolio in Fund 1. You got 1,317x on Solana, 184 on Perpetual Protocol, 112x on the graph. You got like 30x on Arweave. I mean, what fund was this? This is the fund that actually made Multicoin. This is the fund that made Multicoin. And I always say to you guys that if you want to know what to invest in, just follow the smart money. The smart money will tell you what to invest in. And Solana does feel like one of those where the smart money is investing. So I looked at this newsletter that came out from Pantera. And what you can see in this newsletter, let me make it a little bit bigger for you guys. What you can see is it breaks down exactly what they're investing in by narrative, by everything. So for example, the majority of the stuff is in finance, infrastructure, dApps. Then you can, let me show you some more things, how they invest. They invest by like categories. So let's look at which categories. Big investments in DeFi, big exchanges and investments. Big investments in scalability and interoperability. Very small investments in metaverse, but don't be fooled by that, because I think they probably made their DeFi investments a long time ago and those have matured, and they've probably just started to invest in metaverse. So this is where the smart money is investing. But more importantly, let's look at which chains or which protocols they're investing in, because that'll tell you where the smart money is putting their money. So Ethereum, obviously, but this is because they probably invested very early and then it just exploded. Multi-chain, cross-chain, and then banks. Solana comes next. After Solana, Tendermint, Cosmos Tendermint, and then Terra, and then Polkadot are all the same. So, if these guys are the smart money, and it's hard to say that the smart money because they do have XRP in their portfolio as well. So it's hard to say that they are smart money, but maybe they bought XRP a long time ago and they just haven't sold it yet, right? But they have IPFS, which is the Filecoin, what Filecoin is built on. They got Secret, which is the privacy network. They got Handshake, which is it's the naming protocol. They've got Wax, which is the NFT protocol. So this is where the VCs are putting their money. And I always say that you got to look at where the VCs are putting their money, because if you put your money where the VCs are putting their money, then you're following smart money. And Pantera is smart money, or at least I thought they were smart money, but then I saw that they invested in XRP, which was, maybe they're not that smart anymore. Fred's like sitting in the other room listening, and then he just jumps on whenever he feels like it. Okay, so now I want to talk about this because, man, I didn't invest in it because I couldn't find a way in. There was no pre-sale, there was no way to invest in it. But when I was overseas in October, I think I was in Dubai or I was in Lisbon, I met this company called LayerZero Labs. I don't know if you guys remember. I tweeted about it in October. I said, remember LayerZero Labs. This is very important that you remember LayerZero Labs. And then I was so excited about it. And I don't often get this excited about a protocol. But I was so excited by LayerZero Labs. And the reason why I was so excited by LayerZero Labs is because they created a technology, or they said they were going to create a technology that was going to allow you to hop from chain to chain without any kind of bridge. So it's almost like plugging in your computer into the internet and then being able to surf on whatever protocol you want, whenever you want. And they showed me how they did it. And technologically, when I saw it, it was like an aha moment for me. It was like, no way. Why hasn't anybody else done that? And I thought that it would disrupt things like ThoughtChain. So one of the big reasons why I never took such a big position in ThoughtChain at the time was because I kind of, at the back of my head, said, look, when this LayerZero Labs comes on, then there's going to be a problem. And they raised the first round valuation of about 45 million. And then the next time they raised on a valuation of $1 billion. And I was like, I'm not going to invest in this protocol at $1 billion valuation. It's just not what I do. I don't buy things at $1 billion. I sell things at $1 billion if I ever sell. But then I saw this. and this. So the protocol is Stargate. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's called Stargate. STG is the symbol. And again, I'm not an investor in this. I'm going to be an investor. I'm just not sure when I'm going to be an investor because I can't buy this hype. I don't know if it has run because this thing can be huge. It can be huge. It can be huge. Maybe I'm not telling you to buy. I'm not buying yet. I'm telling you, but I am going to buy. But let's look at what happened here. So there was the Stargate auction. The auction where they wanted people to buy it. And Sam Trabucco, who's Sam Bankman-Fried's partner, says, there's been some recent chatter about Stargate finance auction, and I wanted to clarify a few things about Alameda's involvement. And then he says, first off, we did indeed buy all the tokens. They bought all the tokens in the auction.
Every single one.
Every single token in the auction they bought. I mean,
what was the auction?
This is like a couple of days ago. They bought every single token in the auction. Why? Because you ask them, okay, we love the team and what they're doing, and we believe the space and the technology they're building is really important. The cross-chain asset management opens up a wide array of possible DeFi use cases, making capital allocations for firms like Alameda seamless and aids in making crypto investments more efficient. For the same reasons, we won't be selling any of our tokens for two. So blah, blah, blah. Basically, they bought...
I didn't catch that. Could you try again?
No, just get out of here. You missed it. If you missed it the first time, I'm not repeating myself. So they bought this. So this is the protocol. It's called Stargate. It's basically a multi-chain protocol. You can't even say it's a cross-chain protocol. I found an explanation from Kamikaze ETH is the guy's name. Okay. Stargate is a revolution in cross-chain composability. In this thread, I explained Stargate, and he justifies a valuation of $39 per token. Stargate by LayerZero Labs is a fully composable native asset bridge. Most people focus on the bridge part of the bridge, and that's like all the bridges we have. Like it's the bridge part of the bridge. But the revolution is in full composability with guaranteed finality of a native asset across different blockchains. So it's not actually on the bridge, but it's actually in full finality happening very quickly. Through clever and innovative tech, Stargate relies on an oracle and a relay layer combo for dual security. And he explains the design over here. What it means is that users will be able to use dApps across chains without the headaches of bridging it. So this is truly a multi-chain, cross-chain world where users can actually multi-chain and cross-chain live all the time. Now, this thing actually works. So if you watch this, I'm going to play the whole thing because it's a 10-minute video, and we don't have 10 minutes here together. But you can kind of see
they don't actually have gas on that chain. So they need to go to some centralized exchange and get BNB and bring it there. And now, you're claiming your transaction or need it to instantiate another transaction. And then hopefully you end up back on Sushi again on the other chain. And then you'll walk through and do the swap over there. But clearly from Sushi's perspective, you just want this to be one click, right? You want to live in the Sushi UI and you want to click it off and have the whole flow executed. So now we're on BNB, we're going to AVAX. As you can see here, transaction submitted. I think once he closes it, it will show that there is 0 AVAX in the wallet. So again, we have no gas on that destination chain to pay for anything that's happening over there. And this flow. So again, we've gone ETH to BNB. Now we're going BNB to AVAX. On the left-hand side, we're sort of still waiting for this bridge. Again, timing being not exact given its mainnet and testnet, but you can see the user at the left is already at 21.
You guys can watch this video on your own for those of you who want to, but essentially what happens here is we now have a LayerZero, which basically lives under all the protocols, and you plug into the LayerZero and you can execute transactions on any network, and it all happens in the background, and you don't actually have to wrap your tokens, move your tokens from one bridge to the other. That all happens in the background, and that for me is a massive breakthrough, because if we're going to live in a cross-chain, multi-chain world, well, this is the LayerZero. This is the real LayerZero. I was excited about it then. I'm more excited about it now because now it actually works. Problem is, and I don't hold any,
Yeah, so how do we get it? What do we do here?
You buy, but when do you buy? Because FTX bought all the tokens.
What do you mean they bought all of them?
All the auction ones, all the IDO ones are bought by FTX. So I don't know what to do now because $2.87, $2.8 billion valuation.
So yeah, we have to DCA in there. That's the only option.
You can DCA into it. It's already got a $2 billion TVL. So DCA, wait for a pullback. This is a tough one. I'll keep you guys updated on what I'm doing. I haven't decided yet. I'm not buying right now. I need to do more research. Look, long term, you can't go wrong. But to buy on a day where it's 55% up with all the hype of Sam Trabucco, rather wait for like the next crash and then just put this on your buy list. And then when it happens, just go all in. But you know what I mean? When I say all in, I don't mean everything. And I mean like almost everything.
15%.
Not 50% of your put. No. We'll talk about that tomorrow. All right, let's degen some more on some more altcoins. DeFi kingdoms. That's what you call a melt-up. It's a melt-up in DeFi kingdoms. The reason why, they were at the Avalanche conference, the Avalanche Summit, and they did a sneak peek of their DeFi kingdoms upgrades. And remember, that's now moving from Harmony 1 to, not from 2. It's going to be a dual thing on Harmony 1 and on Avalanche. So that's amazing, looking very, very good. The other thing which we saw was they're talking about a cross-chain for native assets. So Avalanche Bridge to add native support for Bitcoin. Native support. They don't say wrap. They say native support for Bitcoin, that could be quite huge. That's the other bit of big news, which we finally got from this conference. More DJ news. Immutable X, they are partnering with GameStop. We've been buying Immutable X for a while. Immutable X partnering with GameStop. In fact, let's look at our portfolio. Our portfolio is up 24%. So it's about a month and a half old now. This portfolio is up 24%. Should be more. I mean, it will be. What's bringing us down here? It should be more. Just because, Luna's gone up 100%. Astroport's up 227%. I mean, it's a good portfolio, this. I mean, I would still be buying into this portfolio, but maybe lightening up. I wouldn't buy that much Terra and stuff like that. But if you listen to us and you started to buy this portfolio when we started to talk about this portfolio, you're 24% up. And actually, I don't know if you guys remember, but I added another token to this. I said we should add in JPEG. And that was that 16 cents. So you must add that on when I add it on because it'll make the portfolio look a lot better. I do really believe in the JPEG protocol. It's basically a lending protocol against NFTs, which is unbelievable. We'll talk about that tomorrow. All right, more news. Yeah, Immutable X is amazing. So more news. Finally, someone is treating Justin Trudeau, the Canadian Prime Minister. Someone is finally giving him the respect he deserves. Finally, somebody is giving him the respect he deserves.
Mr. Trudeau, you are a disgrace for any democracy. Please spare us your presence.
Don't mess with the German woman, bro.
I will now give the floor to Ms. Christine Anderson for her point.
Thank you. Based on Article 195, out that it would have been more appropriate for Mr. Trudeau, Prime Minister of Canada, to address this House according to Article 144, an article which was specifically designed to debate violations of human rights, democracy, and the rule of law, which is clearly the case with Mr. Trudeau. Then again, a Prime Minister who openly admires the Chinese basic dictatorship, who tramples on fundamental rights by persecuting and criminalizing his own citizens as terrorists just because they dared to stand up to his perverted concept of democracy, should not be allowed to speak in this House at all. Mr. Trudeau, you are a disgrace for any democracy. Please spare us your presence. Thank you.
Trudeau gets the welcome he deserves, the respect he deserves. Yeah, I love it. Another bit of information that I saw, which, I mean, the US, who do they think they are? Where they propose a bill that says, a bill to require reports on the adoption of cryptocurrency as legal tender in El Salvador. They want a bill. In 60 days, they want a bill which basically gives a whole breakdown on how this law was implemented, et cetera, et cetera. The US, I mean, why? A bill in Senate.
Well, if Bitcoin dumps in El Salvador is now in poverty, the US is going to have to look after them.
No, the US is not going to look after El Salvador. No, the US is trampling on freedom. They must just leave him alone. Doesn't matter. CZ is there. As you can see, CZ is now in El Salvador. I actually stayed in that same hotel when I was there. He's there, and I think he's gone to help them with the volcano bonds. They've now called in the besting. And then lastly, I want to talk about this today. I think this is a great story. It's another thing about Putin, who has these sanctions, and the Russian ruble is absolutely been destroyed, as you know. But I think he's actually now come back with a one-up. And his one-up is he announced today, starting immediately, that they'll begin selling natural gas to unfriendly countries only in rubles. So that means that if the countries want gas, they have to go and buy rubles, and that would strengthen the ruble currency. Now, they don't really have a choice because Russia supplies about 40% of Europe's natural gas to heat up their homes. And remember that Europe is not coming out of winter, so they need this gas. If they want gas, they got to buy it in rubles. Okay, so I don't know. Putin played his card now, saying, "Look, you want gas? Go and buy rubles in the open market. Prop up the price of rubles." And yeah, that's a great move.
Tokenomics.
It's tokenomics, exactly. It's tokenomics. You want to participate in my ecosystem. Well, you got to use my token. You got to be using my token. You can only use the ruble token in this ecosystem. And then I saw that Andre Cronje left solidly again. I don't know what happened here. Andre Cronje left solidly again. He left solidly again. I think it might be an opportunity, but it's very, very, very speculative. Alrighty, let me try and finish this on time. So, because I have to go lecture the Degens at the university. I don't know why they call me to university. The guys will walk in, their intellects walk out of their Degens. Okay. So if you want to win the $1,000 worth of NeoFi, which is listing now, NeoFi is a protocol which allows you to build and to invest into a curated portfolio. So basically, it allows you to invest in baskets, so to speak. So it makes investing in crypto a whole lot easier, and it also allows staking. Well, you can win $1,000 worth of this token. I'll do it in $100 increments. If we have 3,000 likes, do we have 3,000 likes? If not, then we will just give it away on the website.
We have 1.4.
1.4. Oh, okay, let's see if we get to 3,000. If we don't get to 3,000, I'll give it all away on the website. All you need to do is go onto the website. There's amazing articles on the website. There are 2 articles coming out now, like right now. In the next couple of minutes, there's 2 articles coming out now. One of them is around Anchor Protocol. One of them is around Stargate, STG. That's going to that's coming out now. Then you have to read this article about the Jerome Powell indicator. I think it's a brilliant, brilliant article. Just comment on any of the articles. And then tomorrow on the show, I'll give away the $1,000 because you didn't degen on 2 likes today. Beautiful. So listen, today was all about degen. It was so nice to degen with you guys again. Let's quickly look at our portfolio. What is my portfolio looking like? Let's see how my CoinStats portfolio looks today. I hope it's over 42,000. Oh, 42,506. Getting close to 50,000, which is not bad. I was at 21,000 like a week ago. So that's where I'm at. Let's look at our other portfolio before we go. This university is going to kill me. I'm going to arrive at this university very late. And when they ask me, why did you arrive late? I'll say I was degening. In Israel. It's a university in Israel. It's called the Bar Ilan University, and I'm going to teach them about how to degen. All right, let's quickly look at it. You see JPEG'd. I said JPEG'd up 51%. I did say this. It's the lending protocol for NFTs, lending against your NFTs. Paribus up 22.8%. We should be watching TShares as well. And the reason why we should be watching TShares is because if Tomb hits the peg, hey, get out of my wallet. If Tomb hits the peg, Tomb's at 98. If Tomb hits the peg, then that TShare is going to start printing again. And then that TShare is going to fly to the.
How much? What's your prediction?
No, I mean, if Tomb goes over peg and Tomb stays over peg for a week, that thing goes to 10,000. But remember, Tomb's got to hit peg. So it's all about Tomb. All right, let's stop degening. Love you guys madly. Tomorrow you don't have to come because tomorrow is about Bitcoin. I don't know. Not going to be much of a degen. It's going to be the biggest crypto show in the world. If you take the combined clout of these people, I don't think we've ever had a bigger show. So I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Until then, it's been so amazing degening with you guys. I will see you tomorrow. Trade well, my friends. Oh. Hold the phone. Okay, so you got to go to Kitco News. Why are you laughing, Carl?
Good timing.
Good timing. So look at this. If you go to Kitco News, we'll leave it a link in the description below. Carl, leave a link in the description below. But I did an interview, here we go, with Kitco News. Now, what I need you guys to do, it's a very, very, very good interview, if I may say so myself. But I need to beat Peter Schiff. So you see, I've only got 27,000 views. Peter Schiff's got 117,000 views. I have to beat Peter Schiff. So I need you guys to go to that interview. And it's a great interview, so you'll learn something, but also go and give it some love. Promise me. Come and do it. Just do it. It's a great interview. You'll learn a lot. It's an amazing, amazing interview. See you guys again tomorrow.